Hello, and welcome back to Cabincast Rambles. I'm Oliver, and I'm joined by Tan.
Hello.
And we are back with more Steven Universe.
Indeed.
Yeah. Episode, whatever this one is.
Yeah, who knows? Last time we talked about Mr. Greg.
We did,
Oh, what an episode that was.
indeed. Great episode.
And this time we carry on with Season 3 with Too Short to Ride, which is another good
Indeed.
episode. Slightly
Indeed.
overshadowed by Mr. Greg sometimes,
Little bit.
as are quite a lot of the ones in Season 3.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a good episode.
Indeed. Indeed.
Not just because it's focused on Peridot, but also because it's focused on Peridot.
Yes, we've not had anything Peridot related in a little while.
In a little while. Living at the barn really does make her not be
Let's
in
keep her out
Beach
the way.
City.
Indeed.
Nice little owl.
But yeah, it's an Amethyst and Steven and Peridot episode.
Yeah, the Shorty Squad, so named because they're short.
Yep, it's true. They are not tall.
Which is featured in the title of the episode. Too short
Indeed,
to
too
ride.
short to ride.
Oof, oof. Indeed. But it starts out
Mm-hmm.
with Stephen gifting Peridot a good old tablet.
A tablet.
Yeah, we get a classic wow thanks.
Yep.
And now we get the sort of, it's like a young person teaching an old person to use a bit of technology. It's like, look, you can tweet. There's YouTube, except in this one it's called Tube.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's like a young person showing an old person, except the old person does no technology. It's just this is somehow different technology.
Yeah, and the old person isn't just like 70; she's like a couple thousand years old.
Also, that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's it's like her screens that she lost. So she's very excited about having this thing now.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Indeed.
So we get a little bit, stuff.
Yeah,
A little bit of funny stuff about how the internet is.
Mm-hmm.
And Stephen made Peridot a Twitter account, which exists in real life.
I know.
And actually tweeted between
at the time.
July and August of 2016.
Wish it had done more, but
Would have been very cool.
Yeah.
It's quite a good Twitter account at Peridot5xg. Recommended. Read those tweets; they're funny.
Yeah.
And also the tweets that are in the show are on the actual account. It's cool. Maybe Steven Universe is canon to reality.
That would certainly be something.
I wonder what Peridot would be tweeting now.
Yeah, that would be interesting to know.
Yeah. If Peridot's listening to this Cabincast, hello.
Hello, Peridot.
This might be a bit weird.
Yeah. And yeah, she does an innovation.
Indeed. An incredible invention.
And there's like a whole power-up scene thing, and it's very cool.
Yep, with a little bit of Velcro.
Interlocking fabric strips.
And a bit more of that. You put it on your arm.
You can.
Bam.
It's done.
Like Apple Watch.
I wouldn't trust them with something that heavy, but they seem very strong, so it's all good.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's like when you think about what Velcro is, it's hooks. It's a
All
bunch of
right.
fabric hooks. Like, I don't
Well,
trust a fabric hook with holding too much weight.
no, I suppose that's fair. But when it's a lot of them,
I mean, yeah, they do, they work together to hold the more weight,
bam,
and
exactly.
so they do it. And yeah, then in comes an amethyst.
Indeed, Amethyst is pretty chill at the moment, and
Yeah.
turns out they're going to be going to Funland.
Yeah,
It's been a while since we've had a Funland section.
indeed. Um, but don't worry because we'll get a few
We do get a few. It's
in
nice.
season 3, which is cool.
Yeah, I don't know how many times Stephen gets banned for life, but
It's a couple,
it's
at
a couple.
least at least a couple.
Oh yeah, and of course, Paradox, fairly literal about everything, but
Indeed,
that's okay.
it is.
The first thing is the roller coaster, and unfortunately, they're too short to ride. We said the name of the thing in the thing.
Indeed.
Even with the hair, Paradox. I guess they scrunch the hair down so it
Yep.
don't. It's not tall
Indeed.
enough.
Yeah. Clearly, they didn't used to have these rules and regulations, but
Yeah,
clearly added things since,
they must have done. Unfortunate.
unfortunate, but fortunate. But for safety. Though again, all three of them would be fine. Two of them are borderline indestructible, and the other one is half destructible.
Half destructible.
But yeah, they cannot ride
They cannot ride unless
unless
they just get taller. Shape shifting. Bam.
indeed.
Amethyst is fine with it. Stephen can just stretch out his limbs and turn them into
Mm-hmm.
cats or whatever. So he's not
Yep.
perfect at it, but he's good enough to become tall. Peridot though,
Indeed.
it's not doesn't seem to be working,
No,
and so she just
it
tells them
cannot
to.
shift.
She tells them to do their thing, and they do.
Mm-hmm.
But here we get the first little things. She doesn't seem to be able to shapeshift,
No.
which is unfortunate.
Mm-hmm. It is
Uh,
indeed.
and
Tall
that's sort
amethyst
of
is
what this is
also
about.
a cool look for amethyst.
Pretty cool look.
Indeed.
She's like a teenager, She's like,
She
yeah.
is kind of like that. Mm-hmm.
They go to a few more, rides. We have a little section in which they're doing fun things.
Indeed.
They go to a house of mirrors, for example, but Peridot just doesn't
Hmm.
seem to be having a lot of fun.
She doesn't.
No, everyone else is using shapeshifting, and Peridot can't seem to do it.
No.
Um,
She Googles, "Am I having fun?"
unfortunate.
Yes. But then,
But then Peridot sees the most wondrous thing: a
mm-hmm.
plushie of an alien with a large green head and the same style of mouth that
Indeed,
Peridot often has.
she needs it.
She needs it. And I mean, who wouldn't? That thing
Yeah,
does look pretty cool.
indeed. And yeah, Mr. Smiley runs over. It's clearly the only person running this place.
Yep.
Which is a fun nod to, yeah, kind of how it is like. You never see any other people who work there, just Mr. Smiley, and it's yeah, because there is just Mr. Smiley. Um, and he's like, well, you could say we're a bit understaffed. That's funny. I'm glad you can see the humor because I haven't seen a bed in 6 days. Which is, I'm surprised he's doing this well. I mean, I guess maybe he has slept. He's just not managed to sleep in a bed, I suppose. But yeah, it's not great. But they have some hoops,
They do. They got rings.
and they do. And Peridot doesn't know how the game works.
Not quite. But eventually, they do manage it, and yeah, it's a fun fair game. They won't. They don't.
Yeah,
They can't do it.
it's rigged.
It's rigged.
Indeed.
So instead, we get a little bit of onion. Hey, Mr. Smiley, is that onion trying to light the roller coaster on fire?
I'm not falling for that one again. And he
And
is.
then it turns out, no, he just
It's just
is.
love the way he just stands there with the fire, like it's me, the fireman,
A flaming onion.
the flaming onion.
And using a little bit of shapeshifting, and Amethyst managed to dunk the ring on the
Hmm.
bottle.
She does indeed.
And they gotta tell Peridot we're doing a bit of lying, but they do manage to get it. And instead of getting the large plushy alien, she just gets like a little fella, little finger thing.
And she's good at lying, and also did not steal Stephen's clothes when he's not looking, which is great.
Yeah, the big plush turns out that's 10 rings.
10 rings. But yeah, she
So
gets the
they
little
are,
alien thing.
yeah, but yeah,
She
you need
winds
10
up
rings
on
for the
a
big one,
yeah, 10 rings
sadly.
for the big one. She winds up on a site for finding
Finding
roommates
roommates.
somehow.
Um, she's already got a roommate.
She has.
But yeah, it's yeah, Peridot's not having a fun time at the moment, and she takes that out. She says shapeshifting is kind of
Hmm.
an insult to your intended form, but that might just be insecurity.
That's insecurity speaking, absolutely. And
That's insecurity.
Amethyst and Stephen know her well enough now. They're like, okay, hang on.
Yeah,
This is clearly not about actually insulting shapeshifting. This is about you not being able to shapeshift.
yeah. It turns out,
So
yeah, Peridot
it's
can't do it.
time, yeah, for a montage.
It's time for a montage. They try all sorts of things, that's for
Yeah,
sure, but none of them work.
none of them work. Yeah, like walking in a circle, thus become cat, or try lick your elbow. Steven's still not really got the idea of the cat thing,
Yeah, not quite.
and
They're
Peridot sends out her first cheap. Maybe they should call it Shapeshift Land because it's the land where you go to shapeshift, so it's called Shapeshift. Yeah.
yeah. Most of the training seems like they're just like showing Peridot how to do it.
Yeah, it's showing, not helping, really.
It's a bit like the first episode of Steven Universe
Indeed,
where the gems were sort of saying a lot of strange things about how to summon their gem weapons,
indeed.
and Steven had no idea what they meant.
Yeah. Now they just try straight up pulling to
Yeah,
see if they can catch her, which doesn't work either.
which yeah also does not work and hurts. And they're innocently trying.
Yeah.
I guess like they kind of does seem like a bit of a jerk move, but I think their intentions are pure.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine, even if they didn't quite understand the memo.
Mhm.
That's okay.
Indeed.
And but yeah, it turns out that the Gem Empire,
Mhm.
after the death of Pink Diamond,
Mhm. Yep.
and this whole civil war that they had against the Crystal Gems, it turns
Mhm.
out that I guess they overextended themselves or something.
Yeah.
They don't have as many resources as they used to.
They don't have as many. They didn't get any from Earth.
No,
Um,
and they didn't want to get any from Earth, as we heard from Yellow Diamond last
Indeed.
season.
Yeah. So
So
Ever 2 Paradox don't have powers.
yeah, instead
Uh,
they give them limb enhancers
Limb
and stuff,
enhancers and screens and things like
and
that.
screens.
So,
Yeah,
so in theory, we never see any, I don't believe, but in theory, Era 1 uh, Paradox would probably just be about as tall as Paradox is
maybe,
with her limb enhancers potentially.
maybe,
Um,
yeah, you might be right. I don't know.
or something like that. Again,
Do we
it's
see
hard to
any
say.
Arrow One Paradox?
I don't
Is
think so.
Squaredot? Is
Because I was going to say
Squaredot Arrow One?
Squareodot on some of them in the games, in those games which I are maybe they are not canon, are canon. I can't quite remember.
I don't
Um,
know if they're canon or not,
I don't
but
remember if they are or not,
they might be Arrow One. I'm not sure.
but they might. She might be a one, in which case then they're just smaller. But I don't but quite remember. Either
Yeah,
way, she is small.
she is small. Do we see any other Era Two gems?
I was wondering that as well.
I think there might be a few.
I mean, um,
Like maybe one or two of the rubies from the ruby.
like the rubies might be able to.
Like not Eyeball, because Eyeball was there,
Eyeball was there.
but some of them might not be.
Indeed, some of them might not be. Uh, yeah, a lot of the gems are old.
A lot of them are.
Like in a sense, Amethyst is Era 2, which is
Yeah,
actually Era 1, and just came out late.
true.
Um, like I suppose some of the off colors as well potentially might be Era 2,
Yeah,
but they're not a good measuring tool for other gems. Hence the off color.
hmm. But
Yeah.
if we presume that, for example, one of the rubies is,
Mm-hmm.
then it seems that they still have like the ability to fuse and
Indeed,
create
fusion still
weapons
seems
and
to be a
stuff.
thing.
But maybe
Creating
that
other
just wasn't
weapons.
given to Paradox because they're not
Yeah,
war focused.
indeed. Um, yeah. I guess again we don't know because
I guess it makes sense from the perspective of a like imperialist power that you would
yeah, for sure.
allocate those resources more towards soldiers
Mm-hmm. They're not engineers.
than engineers, unfortunately. And
Indeed.
then yeah, Era 2 Paradox did not get any powers. We've not seen Peridot pull out a gem weapon.
No,
We've not seen Peridot fuse,
no.
and we've not seen Peridot shapeshift. So I guess they just
Mm.
can't really do much other than alter their form
Uh, yeah, alter their form a little bit.
because Peridot put the visor on later.
She does, yeah. Yeah, they can alter their aesthetic form a little.
Yeah,
They can't properly shapeshift. And they're smart, obviously. But that's about it. We don't know if she may actually be able to shapeshift. Again, we've had that discussion. I mean, not shapeshift, fuse. We've had that
yeah,
discussion in the past. Um, but yeah, shapeshifting and gem weaponing and that stuff appears not to be within her wheelhouse.
indeed, indeed. And I guess it's kind of, to some extent, an allegory for like disability,
I'd say kind of, yeah,
because she's not like, she's got all her legs and arms and stuff,
for sure.
but to gems that there is more
Yeah,
to their existence,
yeah.
and
Like,
she
again,
exists.
with like fusion, she didn't seem comfortable with that at that point. That's fine. But with this one, everyone else just, yeah, doing it around her, almost it being like, stretching an extra limb, as it were, and
Yeah,
she doesn't have that. Indeed.
yeah,
So she's a
exactly.
bit upset.
Yeah, it's like if you were in a wheelchair or something, and every place you went to had just stairs instead. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
that's a bit annoying. Maybe they
yeah.
should call it
Stairlands.
Legland because of
Leglands,
the
yeah.
place where you go to have legs.
Indeed.
um, but it's
Hmm.
aliens, so it's not exactly like an exact
Indeed.
comparison or allegory, and,
Yeah.
and that's fine.
Indeed. Um, but yeah, we get some stuff from Amethyst here, which is,
Yeah,
again, shows how far their relationship has come.
we do. We get some nice stuff from Amethyst. It wasn't exactly what Peridot wanted to hear at the time,
No.
but it is well intentioned and it is quite a good message.
Hmm.
Um, and I guess it speaks to Amethyst's character because
Hmm.
like later, well, even before, but also after, Amethyst is mostly thinking about the present. She doesn't want to think about all this past stuff
Hmm.
with Pink Diamond and all that. Like in no, I don't remember what the episode title was called, but the one where they search for Ruby after
Oh,
Pitch a single pale rose.
yeah.
I
I
don't remember
don't
what it's called.
remember either. But that one,
She doesn't want to dump another 1,000-year-old conflict on everyone else. She's a bit
indeed.
more reserved than that.
Yeah.
And
Indeed.
Amethyst doesn't want Peridot to think about all of this past stuff. She doesn't
Hmm.
want to think about. She doesn't want Peridot to think about the things that she can't do because of the past. She wants Peridot to think about the things she might be able to do because of the present.
Exactly.
And that's quite a nice sentiment.
Hmm. And it would be great if Peridot was listening,
Yeah,
but
and
she's just kind of ignoring them.
she's just typing clods into the chat.
She is, uh, and has enough and is like, you know what? Nope, I'm getting rid of this. You don't need it. You're better off without
Yeet!
it. And she throws it.
She throws it into the ocean.
Except no,
Indeed. It
because it
seems
has
to hover in midair
indeed,
magically.
as if she's got
How
some kind of metal powers.
how has that worked?
Yeah,
And Peridot's holding her arms out and she moves her arms a bit and the thing moves as well, the tablet. And it's metal powers, indeed.
indeed, some kind of telekinesis, but maybe just over metal.
Yeah, it's kind of amusing. I like the way they animated it because she just sort of like experiments. She bends some of her
Yeah,
limbs and it moves about
it does. She does
and
what she'd
eventually
immediately
comes
start
closer.
doing. Yeah. And Steven's just like having all of these ideas of what you could do, and they're all really trivial things.
Yeah,
Like it means so much more than that.
and it will do in the future
Indeed.
because Peridot is able to hurl spikes at people and fly with
Mm-hmm.
this power.
Exactly. It definitely puts her on more of the same level as the rest of them.
Exactly, and but this time Peridot uses it to win the ring game herself.
Indeed. Because the rings are metal.
Indeed, they are.
I thought they were like plastic or something, but I guess I'm just a fool. Um, or
That
wood,
would be unfortunate if they were plastic.
because it looks like I guess they could be metal bottles as well. So. Either way, yeah, she wins the thing.
Yeah, she wins the big old alien plush and loves it.
Indeed.
Um, it's interesting though, like, you know, when they throw away the tablet,
Yeah.
Paradox shouts, "No, it's all that I am." And I
Mm-hmm.
guess it would be because Homeworld gave them limb enhancers, and that
Yeah.
they were thrown away. They were thrown into the
Mm-hmm.
ocean by Amethyst
Yep.
in Catch and Release,
Indeed.
and that was like, not only is it her connection to
Mm-hmm.
sort of data and people and this
Yeah.
whole Homeworld network, but it's also her like only connection to Homeworld,
Mm-hmm. Indeed.
and that's like a fundamental part of her identity that's been gone, and it makes
Yeah.
sense that she would feel so attached to them.
Exactly. So yeah. And yeah. So obviously she still has the tablet now, which is good.
Yes,
Um,
that's not in the water.
she's also aware that she is more than just a tablet, which is
Yeah,
also good.
we get
Um,
some cool character development
we do. Um,
and also mental powers.
also metal powers, which are pretty cool. And yeah, like it is a shame, like we said before that we never see Peridot fuse, or she doesn't have a gem weapon, or she can't shapeshift. But it's like to an extent that's also that's kind of the point. Especially that's kind of the point of what this episode is telling you is like you can't always do everything. Everything can't always happen, but gotta
Yeah,
be thankful for what you can do and make the most of that.
like it would have been a bit of uh like it would have underpinned the message if, like, no, not undercut the message if they'd
Yeah,
figured out that Peridot actually was able to shapeshift.
yeah,
So it's
exactly.
cool she got something unique.
It's kind of like having their cake and eating it too because she does get metal powers, but in like the best possible way because it's like she can't shapeshift. That's not going to change, but she
Yeah,
can do this, which no one else can. Um, and yeah,
it's like maybe you can't walk upstairs, but you can play wheelchair basketball.
can. Or like
Bam.
wheelchair table tennis. Have you seen that?
I
It's
haven't seen that.
God, incredible. It's ridiculous, but yeah.
That sounds cool.
Um, incredibly talented people. But yeah, that is too short to ride.
It is indeed too short to ride. And do you think we'll have
I think we
time
do.
for the
I
new
don't think
Lars?
there's potentially that much to say, but we still got like over half an hour of potential time. So
Too Short
yeah,
to Ride is a good. It's pretty comfy episode aside from the bit where they try and pull Peridot on the rack. That's a bit less comfy, but the rest of the episode, it's just nice.
the fact that Peridot's just going ow, 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 ow actually kind of gives it some levity uh, in that moment, even if it is actually because obviously it is hurting. Um, but yeah, the next episode
The new
is
Lars.
the new Lars, which is an important episode to remind us that Stephen still has some going to do,
Indeed.
and
And
can
Lars
be
too,
quite
obviously.
uncomfortable because of it. And obviously Lars, yes, obviously Lars. So yeah, we've not seen Lars in a while.
No, we've not been in Beach City very long,
We
or
have
for a
not,
while. And it's nice to get some townies,
indeed,
especially Lars, back into the picture.
indeed.
This feels like, or at least the premise, not the actual episode, but the
Yeah,
premise feels like it could be a season 1 episode.
the premise does indeed feel like it could be a season 1 episode. It has to be a season 3 episode.
Yes.
But yeah, I 100% agree. Um,
And you know what? I like that some of the episodes feel like season 1 episodes later on.
Yeah, I agree.
Season 1 episodes are good,
They're a lot of fun.
mostly.
They remind you of when times were simpler.
Indeed.
You could just worry about cookie cat ice cream or a cheeseburger backpack.
Yeah.
And yeah. But no. Season 3. Season 3, Steven is what I meant to say there, not season 3 again. Uh,
Good old season 3 universe.
and he's talking about koalas and sloths.
Yeah, and he's talking about, you know, like, I guess which one would win as a in the category of
Hmm.
hanging around doing nothing mammals. He's just talking about it to Sadie and Lars, and
He
Sadie
is
is sort of, going along with it. Lars is kind of annoyed,
annoyed
presumably.
because he always is for some reason. Also, it's a
That's
sloth.
Lars.
Like, they're called sloths. They hang around to do nothing. Koalas do more than that.
Koalas don't do a whole lot
They
though.
don't do a whole lot more, but
They eat and then they sleep because they have to spend so much energy eating.
yeah.
Pandas could be on there as well. But I guess that one's already been eliminated in the tournament style, hanging
Indeed.
around doing nothing and mammals.
Indeed. I mean, yeah, I mean, pandas are, I guess they walk around a lot more. They don't climb on trees as much,
True.
and they use quite a lot of strength to eat their bamboo.
A lot less hanging.
A lot less hanging.
But yeah, you know, Sadie invites Lars around to her place, and
Hmm.
Lars says, nah,
He
and
does.
instead says other things.
He does. Um.
Stephen's been staring the whole time because he's like
Hmm.
very invested in Lars and Sadie's relationship.
He is.
Uh, I guess he's learned from Island Adventure.
Yep. Indeed.
And Stephen tries to confront Lars to ask him why he's like acting like a bit of a jerk to Sadie
Yep.
sometimes. And Lars gets a little hostile at that, which is fair enough.
It is.
If someone was like, "Yo, why aren't you married to this person?"
Hmm.
It's a little, it's a little bit weird because Stephen thinks they love each other.
And there's definitely something there.
I mean, they're with each other all the time in the
They're with
big
each other
donut.
all the time. They have a look
They
after he
have
says, "Oh, go see if Bug wants to do stuff." And she's like, "I'm sure he'll have a great time." He's like, "Yes, I
yeah,
think we will." And then they're both like, "Uh,
and we have
wait,
this
it's awkward now."
this whole the player two stuff in there.
The whole player two stuff as well.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, there's clearly something there, and even in future, by the time where they have, they've moved on, it's clear they still care about each other a lot.
they did
Um,
try, but
and they did try indeed, but
it
things
didn't
don't
work
always
out,
work out.
and that's
Exactly.
okay. They still like
Indeed.
each other.
Exactly. Um,
But
but
this
yeah,
time, Lars is a little resistant to that idea,
he
and
is
that's okay.
currently. It is
But he's
okay.
also being a bit of a jerk.
He really is. Like, considering how well his attempts to befriend Buck and that lot always go.
Hmm.
So you've got someone here who you get on really well with, asking you if you want to do stuff, and you're like, no, I'm gonna go and hang awkwardly about these people and then wander away because I get nervous. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
But
very
that's
much
just what Lars is like, I guess.
like you kind of sympathize with him sometimes, but also he does not help himself.
He does not present. You can often totally see where he's coming from, but he does not help himself. No.
But we get a little dream, and Stephen's sort of flying towards Lars and jumps into his mind, Freaky
Hmm.
Friday style.
Indeed.
and we get to see Lars's room,
We do.
and it's the attic, as it turns out, because Lars had requested to move into the attic
He
for
had.
whatever reason. Like it's
And
quite nice and big, but
yeah,
it's also an attic.
and there's some implications that I
He wakes up with a
never really
magazine
picked
on his
up on
head.
before. Um, yeah, a magazine on his head called Noise
Noise,
with
much like Michael Rosen.
yeah, with a lovely lady on the front. Uh,
Yeah, there's a lot of things. There's a
and he's
stop sign.
yeah.
There's a PC. There's some
Mhm.
paint.
Mhm.
There's a poster that says army,
Yeah, it says something beneath it. We can't read that, but
and yeah,
those
and then
stuff
there's
is more
you know
understandable. I'm just glad Stephen didn't pay too much attention to the magazine because
I'm sure he wouldn't even know what was going on.
exactly. But yeah, it's a great time as well for the voice actor of Lars to
Oh,
be Stephen.
absolutely. He's
He really does a
enjoying this
great
bit
job.
so much,
Yeah.
and the animators must have enjoyed it as well
Mhm.
because the animation through of Stephen being Lars throughout the
Yeah.
entire episode is so expressive and incredible.
Yeah.
It's like if you gave the excitement of Stephen to someone who's incredibly like lanky and spaghetti.
Yeah.
It's like
Exactly.
Spinell.
Kind of. Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. It's Spinell without the like ragtime.
Exactly.
Um. Yeah. So the poster says Army of War. I think.
Oh, okay.
Which I don't know, like Total War or something, but
Something
something
like that.
else. Yeah.
And Lars is I mean, you can see his bones.
Yeah. He's really thin.
He's pretty thin, even though he works at a donut shop.
Yeah. Which I mean, good. Good for you, buddy. Uh. I would not have that kind of restraint, and I don't like donuts all that much. I don't dislike them, but I don't love them. But if I worked at a donut shop,
Hmm.
that would not be good.
But on the other
Um,
hand, he also doesn't have any muscles.
on the other hand, he also doesn't have his muscles. I have
So
those ones to some extent. So there's that.
there is also that.
But yeah,
But yeah,
Stephen finds some clothes and is gonna try and figure out what's going on, and then
the
he.
first thing
Hmm.
he does is to say that he wants to respect Lars's body and his privacy,
Indeed,
which is very nice
good job,
because Steven's a
Stephen.
nice person. He doesn't get
Indeed,
it quite right,
no,
but he tries.
he does try.
I think he thinks that Lars is a better person than he really is.
I think, yeah, I think he thinks, oh, Lars is all right. He just, he needs some help.
Yeah, but he kind of came in a wrong time because Lars's parents are ready to have a serious talk.
A serious talk. And why is that, Tan?
What?
Why are
Well,
they ready to have a serious talk?
oh, because he's failing his grades.
He is. It
I,
is
I,
not doing well.
I felt like I was going to be killed for a second. I wasn't sure what that meant.
I
Um,
was just asking you to carry on because, yeah, but yep, no, I faced that strangely.
I thought you were going to relate it to me. I was like,
No, it's
I,
like,
I didn't fail school.
no,
Um, Interestingly, they call him Laramie at the start, and obviously Stephen doesn't know
no,
that's his birth name or whatever.
indeed, because,
Um,
yeah,
Laramie's a strange name. I've not heard it before.
mhm. I
There's
haven't
theories
either.
going around that maybe Lars is a trans man, and that's why that was sort of a lot of his reactions to this, and the visuals here are the way they are. But I do not know, and
Hmm.
it is not my place to say.
Yeah, like with most kind of popular media and like cartoons and stuff that tend to be progressive, people often find even more progression in there. Um, than is, intended, which again is totally fair because there's nowhere near enough representation for trans people in cartoons and that kind of stuff. So um, I
There's
could I could see that,
headcanons,
I think, and
and it's not
exactly, and there's
unfounded.
headcanon. So yeah, there's now that you mention it, I could definitely see that being the case, for sure. But yeah, Laramie is an interesting name.
Yeah. Um, so they hand him his grade report, and obviously Stephen has never been to school, so he just
No,
goes amusingly. But yeah, it turns out, yeah, he's failing most of them. And which ones? Can we see which ones it is? I don't know if that's on the wiki because that's what all I'm on. I'm not actually watching at
that's
the
fair.
moment.
I'll have a
But can
quick
we see
look.
what the subjects are that he's
Uh,
not failing?
the subjects are line, 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 line. He's not failing line, line.
Oh,
He's only a little bit failing line, line, and he's
okay.
also failing line, line.
He's pretty good at line.
He's getting Fs in most things. He's getting Bs in something, and then Ds in something else. What would that be for Lars? What would that be for Lars? What does Lars do? Because he doesn't really do music.
Gaming.
It's not a course in gaming,
Oh yeah.
uh, especially not at like school level that he's at,
He's
college
probably
level.
good at home ec since he likes baking.
That might be it. Might be like home economics, yeah. And then once he got the D in, because he's not got an F in that, maybe by extension, chemistry.
Chemistry. We'll go with that.
We'll go with that. It makes no sense considering how they're ordered, but eh. Also, his breakfast looks intriguing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I
It's
say anything more about it than that, but
like pancakes with blueberries on or something.
yeah.
Very nice. And Stephen, as Lars, he's very nice to Lars's parents.
Hmm.
Didn't even swear like Lars might normally do.
Yeah.
And he's trying his best
Hmm.
to respect Lars's by privacy by just saying, yes, I will do very good.
Even though that's not what Lars would actually do,
Nope.
unfortunately. He also
And
put in actual things in the holes,
yeah, he did.
which, like, I don't know how those things stay open without things in the holes, or how they stay that open. I mean, I know how it's because it's an artistic choice, but um,
He
yeah,
does wear such things occasionally, but
indeed,
not a whole lot.
a whole lot.
And Stephen's just like running down the street shouting, "I'm Lars,"
Yeah,
um, and he's very enthusiastic,
indeed,
and Stephen goes up to the cool kids
he
in
does.
a very brazen manner, very unlike Lars.
Indeed. He also meets Onion, who actually seems kind of freaked out, which is concerning for Onion.
Yeah, Onion is not normally freaked out at anything,
He's like, "What is going on? What's he doing?" But
and
yeah, he
Stephen
goes up
as Lars
to.
is nice to
He
people.
is. He goes up to Buck and sour cream.
Indeed, we get the koalas or sloths thing again.
Mm-hmm.
And they say they're sleeping tigers.
Mm-hmm.
How very apt.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when like Jenny arrives,
Indeed.
Jenny says like she sort of like unenthusiastically says, "Hey
Yeah.
Lars,"
Mm-hmm.
It's clear that they're not the biggest fans of him.
Yeah.
But then when Stephen takes over, they're like, "Wow, maybe he's actually nice."
Mm-hmm. Like he clearly wants to be part of their group, but he still only cares about himself and his image in being
Yeah,
part of the group. Um,
it is
because
unfortunate.
because as we've seen time and time again, they are very cool, but they're just people. They don't particularly see themselves as They don't. Well, they might see themselves as cool to some degree. Like I think Buck probably does, but not in the
Depends on
sense
their
that
glasses.
that means they are above everyone else. That's just what they're like. Whereas Lars seems to think that they're cool, they're more important than everyone. I want to be one of them.
They're not like the typical like sitcom bullies, you know.
They're not, and most people aren't, as a general rule.
Yeah, yeah,
But if you're the kind of person who aspires to that way of thinking, which Lars certainly seems to, at least at this point, then that's going to lead you to some complications because you're not going to have any friends from the people who you think are beneath you, and you're probably not going to have any of the friends from the people who you think are like you because they're not.
Oof, harsh, scathing.
Little bit, but I feel like based on the interactions that Stephen Lars has with people, definitely comes across that way. Uh, Kind of seems like Sadie's the only person who really wants to spend time with him because she cares about him more and does see the kind of softer side, and because I think he can probably let himself be more like relaxed around her.
Yeah,
Uh, but then even she winds up getting frustrated with him, understandably.
yeah, absolutely. Um, and yeah, they invite him potentially onto their dance crew because there's going to be a dance competition.
A dance competition, indeed.
Stephen accidentally refers to Lars in the third person, and then
He
Buck
does.
just like carries on that trend
Yep,
amusingly. I like Buck; he's kind of fun.
indeed.
But yeah, he's got moves. He can dance.
Hmm.
But then Stephen remembers that um, Lars could have gone to Sadie's this evening,
Indeed.
and so
This morning,
this morning,
it's their day
oh yeah,
off. Yeah.
because it's their day off, and so he refuses.
Hmm.
But like with an apology. I know, crazy
Hmm.
from Lars. Never apologizes, but this
Indeed.
time it's okay.
Yeah.
And we get the sort of the meat of this episode, which
Indeed.
is Stephen as Lars and Sadie.
This is where it gets a bit complicated,
Complicated, slightly uncomfortable,
uncomfortable. Like
but
again, you can see
very
ex-
interesting.
Stephen's heart again is in the right place,
Yes.
but you can't manipulate someone into spending time with someone to be together with someone when you are not the person.
Yeah, it's there's a lot going on here.
There's a lot going on here.
It may
So yeah,
have worked with Pearl and Greg, but this time it does not.
this is not them.
This is not them. They have slightly different conflicts.
Hmm. And yeah, because and Sadie knows Lars really well
Yes.
and is like, this seems odd. This is a roller coaster. And Steven's just kind of getting more awkward because he doesn't really know how to respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, she does point out what we were just saying, like she's one way with her and another way in public. And Steven's actually just kind of extenuated this process and made it worse.
Yeah.
Um,
Because now he's like a completely different person.
Completely different person. And Sadie just kind of owns up to again what should be Lars. Lars should really be hearing this, and that'd probably be a good thing if he did. But it's not. It's Steven hearing this.
Mm.
Um, about Sadie saying like, I feel like you're just embarrassed to be around me and to know me, and yeah,
Yeah. It's kind of an unfortunate circumstance. But they watch horror movies. That's Sadie's thing. Sadie likes
hmm,
horror. Lars is. Oh well, Steven's less of a fan. Lars probably likes
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Um, but they watch a romantic one
yeah.
with werewolves, which honestly, maybe I'll watch that. That sounds pretty cool.
But you
Werewolves in
maybe,
love? Come on. Who
yeah,
wouldn't?
I can see the appeal for you. That's for sure. But
That's Stephen as Lars is crying on the bed
Yeah, because they just wanted to be together,
because they just wanted to be together.
but they can't. And yeah, this is not a thing that normal Lars would do, which is why Sadie's getting mixed signals and very confused.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, Steven says some things that he maybe shouldn't say.
yeah, and the big thing, like Sadie is experiencing a lot of things. Like Lars is
Yeah,
acting very different
indeed.
in all contexts, and so she asks, like, "What is it that you actually feel?" And
Hmm.
Stephen, who boy, he
Yep.
says, "Isn't it obvious? I love you."
And it's like, Steven, you're projecting just a little bit there, bud.
Stephen, no.
And again, he's a child. He doesn't understand how these things work yet, really. So, it won't be the last time Steven makes a questionable decision regarding romance. Um, that
Yeah,
comes back in a big way in future. But
it does.
again, yeah, he also doesn't really have anyone like as much as the Gems know about love.
Mm.
And obviously they're very loving of him, and we've got the stuff about fusion, and Garnet is the embodiment of love. Their love and human love is it's not the same. And obviously he doesn't have, two parents in that sense anymore. So Steven's kind of, I think, kind of flying blind a little bit with this stuff. And that's why he sometimes wants to help, but gets his wires a bit crossed. And yeah, Sadie kicks him out.
Yeah,
And Lars finally owns up. Well, Steven finally owns up to not being Lars, which is the first time that Steven will tell people that he isn't people or is people or some version of that theme.
what?
Uh, Steven saying I am X or I'm not X
Uh,
gonna come up quite a bit going forward.
yeah, you're right, it does. Oh, oh
Hmm.
boy.
In some ways, this is the least egregious example of that. But
Hmm.
yeah, so Sadie opens back up the door.
Yeah, because Lars apologizes, and
Yeah,
Sadie's like, "Wait a second, that can't be right."
yeah,
Lars never apologized. But yeah,
yeah.
Sadie asks whether Lars's mind might be in Steven's body, but Lars,
S-
this is that's
stars,
Stars. Stars has no idea, and they
stars
head over to
didn't
visit
think about that.
potentially Leven,
Yep.
um, the cool kids. 1 second, yay!
Hmm. So they run over to where Steven is. Uh, the kids won second place,
They
so
did,
good job to them.
they did, and they see Lars and Sadie running, and they follow, and
Lars and Donut Girl.
Lars and Donut Girl
They
even,
don't
yeah,
really know her yet, but they will.
they will indeed,
Now it'll be a fun one.
yeah.
Um, but
And
yeah,
it turns out Lars's parents don't actually know who Sadie is either.
no, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I guess they never visit Lars's
Hmm.
place. Oh, they do, don't they? Because of Player 2 stuff.
Yeah,
Wow. They just do not have any idea of what's going on in his life.
no,
That's unfortunate.
indeed,
That is a parents thing, I guess. A lot of the parents in Steven Universe are imperfect in particular ways.
indeed. Like, I mean, they want to be part of his life, but don't want to
They're kind
be.
of scared.
They're scared. They don't want to hurt him. And being part of his life seems like it's gonna hurt him to him. So they respect his boundaries, it seems. But yeah.
Yeah.
So they get back to the shed. Thankfully, Sadie kicks the door down because again,
the temple.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Shed.
Shed. It kind of looks like a shed. It's a beach shed with a temple in it. But yeah, they break in because again, Lars has noodle arms, but Sadie has kicks.
Yeah, Sadie is
She
strong.
takes it, and everyone else has kind of just been following. Like, why are they breaking into the Stevens house?
And
Lars, a burglar.
we've been ready for
Ready
this
for this
day.
day.
Yep. Uh, and then he's like trying to wake up Stephen
Yeah,
or Stephen's body.
I'm like,
Like looks like
okay,
he's
this looks
trying to
weird, but don't
give him
jump to
CPR.
conclusions. It's great. And finally, they switch places.
Yeah, we actually get that like the scene stops and then we see
Yeah,
it from Stephen's eyes,
we do.
which we get to see this sort of stuff later on
Yeah,
when
this is the first instance of
perspectives
the
shift.
astral projection.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when well, we had our astrals projected into a melon earlier,
We did. You're right. We did have a melon one, but to a
but
different
like
actual person. This is.
in Change Your Mind when he gets the
Yeah.
perspective of both Pink Stephen and regular
Mhm.
Stephen.
Yeah.
Bam, we get the double eye view,
We do. But
which must be strange.
very weird indeed. But yeah, Lars he's up. He's very confused why everyone's here.
Yeah, he's incredibly panicked,
Yeah.
and he's angry to Stephen, and Stephen finally confesses to everyone.
Yep.
And Stephen and Lars is kind of disgusted that someone else would spend time in his body,
Yep.
which is like whether Stephen wanted to or not, it is kind
Mhm.
of an invasion of privacy,
Oh, absolutely.
which is unfortunate.
Absolutely is. But at the same time, it's like Lars still being really dumb and being like, "What? You liked that? How dare you like me being nice to you? I'm clearly not going to learn anything from this. I'm
Yeah,
going to go back to how being like." It's clear that his parents liked him like that. It's clear that the cool kids don't like him as he is right now when he's shouting at Steven and stuff.
Buck is
Um,
no longer pleased.
no, Buck is no longer pleased, and that he just doesn't seem to get it.
Yeah, at the end he just screams.
Yep. And then Steven goes to the Big Donut to see Lars
Yeah,
and
this is a little
apologise.
bit later.
Yeah,
This is the next day. He gives him a card,
he
but
does.
it's not quite enough.
No,
Lars just rips it up.
indeed.
But then he mentions Sadie, and he says that as Lars told Sadie that he loved Sadie, and Lars is very interested.
Yep. All of a sudden.
All of a sudden, Steven says she thought you'd only say something like that to hurt her,
Mhm.
and Lars acknowledges that that's probably right,
Yeah.
but it turns out that Sadie does prefer the real Lars rather
Yeah.
than Steven Lars, which is
Indeed.
nice.
Yeah.
And maybe that is impetus for Lars to act slightly nicer.
Yeah. And he does ask if Sadie wants to come round and bring a movie or something.
Yeah, it's we actually get some proper character development.
We do. This can go on. Lars learns a lesson, kind of slightly, perhaps, maybe. But that's the name of the list. But it is a bit more.
Yeah,
This is
this
the first
instead of
time since Horror Club, so
wow, gosh,
indeed, indeed.
Lars learns that maybe being closed off and a jerk to everyone might not be the best
And the
idea.
way to go. Yeah,
But he's still got a ways left.
he has, but it's an interesting ride.
He stops being as much of a jerk and
He
more
does.
becomes, well, his other flaws.
Yeah,
His like anxiety and his like cowardice.
His anxiety and cowardice goes way up, but his jerkness goes down. So
Yeah,
net win,
net win.
I think. Yeah.
Unfortunately, he had to die to get the rest of his character development.
Indeed, but we will get there.
We will indeed get there.
But until then, yeah, got 2-2 today.
We did.
It's good. It's good to know. And yeah, thank you for listening. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cabincast. For more episodes, go to www.cabincast.podbean.com or use the Podbean app. You can now also find us on iTunes and Pocket Casts under Cabincast and on YouTube. The uploads here are quite behind. Finally, you can find us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Cabincast. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.